Hey guys, Chris here, and I think today it's time to take a bit of a small break when it comes to League of Legends reaction videos, because we did quite a few now, and take a look at one of your other guys' requests, which is Diablo 3 cinematic, because you actually guys really liked the Diablo 4 reaction video we did back in the day, so I'm quite excited to go back to a Diablo cinematic because they have their own flair. It's kind of like creepy, dark, and kind of like scary sometimes. So I'm quite pumped to check this one out because from the wallpaper it looks pretty sick, I have to say. Did you guys check out the Mandalorian Season 2 Ahsoka episode? Spoiler alert, when she had the pure white blades, that was so sick, and then when she used the Force and she was like power. Ooh, what is this? Did I just randomly force summon the rich wallet? Well, I guess that's good because they did summon this episode for you guys, so it's only fair. In all seriousness guys, I hope you're enjoying The Mandalorian. If you love minimal design as well as that cool industrial look, then the rich wallet is a great option for you guys. They have an amazing array of colors, more than 30 actually to choose from, and I personally love the Bird Titanium edition as well as Forged Carbon. I personally use them when it comes to my business cards. I found that they're the perfect kind of like business card holder, and when someone gives me theirs, I just put it here in the back, which is pretty sick as well, and I always get comments of like, oh, what is this? Which I think it's pretty cool. Now, they have more than 30,000 reviews, 5 stars, you have free worldwide shipping and free returns, and you can use my link in the description to get an extra 10% off. And if you're looking for a gift for yourself, one of your good mates, or a family member for this holiday season, then the Rich Wallet is a great choice for you guys. And with that said, let's fire up YouTube and check out the Diablo cinematic. So full screen, and 1, 2, 3, let's get scared. I'm not scared, you're scared. Mature 17 plus. Here we go. Why is this on?
Diablo was defeated.
Is it like animation?
It seemed we would know peace, but it was not to be.
Okay.
For Diablo's essence lingers in the black soul stone. I cannot destroy the stone.
Ooh, it's like the Lord of the Rings ring.
To remain within the heavens, and so it must be hidden.
That is really cool.
Even from the angels. I pray that it will be enough.
It's not. Ooh, is that it? It does look very dark. Ooh, whoa. That's so cool!
You have done well, Horadrim.
He has a very nice
Your service here
voice.
is finished, and you should all
Nani?
run.
Oh! Oh, that was sick! He has wings? Oh, that is too cool! Oh!
Go!
Where are they gonna go? You shall not pass, boy! Oh! Oh, it's sucking their souls or something. Oh, that is sick! Oh! No! Brother!
Why?
Oh my god! No! He's like a dementor, man, like... Oh, he didn't kill him! What is going on?
Will stop you. No one can stop death.
Ooh, boy! That was sick. Oh, come on, man. Why are they putting this thing so early? Oh, that was so sick, mate. Okay, let's like the cinematic. Sweet. Okay, so it wasn't as scary as it was shocking, I would say, compared to the Diablo 4 cinematic. Like, that was scary. Like, that, it had one or two moments that it got me. But it was amazing, and again, it's been a while since we looked at a pure cinematic, so that was really sweet. I'm guessing this guy's like Death Reaper kind of like thing. Let me guys know in the description. Really cool character design, and I like kind of like the double like scythe kind of like blades that he has. It almost reminds me, guys, if you played back in the day Prince of Persia, how he had like kind of like the twisted kind of swords. Not to this extent, but you guys know what I mean. And it's funny because they almost looks like horns and things. Like, that is so sick. Let me guys know in the description what's going on story-wise, because that was pretty cool. So let's jump right back and kind of like go through and discuss the cinematic and some cool details. So let's go full screen again. Online interactions. So we have the Blizzard logo, and a very epic kind of like soundtrack starts to play. And I really like how they did their logos as if it's like, you know, like the burned candle kind of like stamp thing. And they choose to start with like a narration style, but it's also very cool to have like visuals when it comes to narration, and you can do this multiple ways, where you can have like a flashback sequence that is like, again, it plays out normally but the audience knows it's a flashback while the narration goes on, or you can go a bit more artistic, and this a tiny bit reminds me, of course, completely different style. This was more like hand-drawn animation and a few animated elements, but when it came to the Harry Potter, it like the flashback of the story about the one, you know, with the invisibility cloak, the ring of I don't remember what it was. God, it's been a while since I did Harry Potter. And like the wand, when they did the kind of like the flashback cinematic, it was more like artistically done and had kind of like the same warm hue and dark like particles going around when it came to the characters. So this is what it reminded me of. And it's a cool way to like
Diablo was defeated.
Very cool, and I really like there's very subtle details that make this quite engaging visually wise. And now with the narration, we get kind of like a story recap, I'm guessing, of like either what happens in the game or previous games, because I think this might be an expansion based on what the title says. So basically, he has a really nice deep voice, like a story voice, and it tells us like what's happening, and the visuals go in tandem.
For a time it seemed we would know peace.
Really cool. See how it's like a static art made background, but there's like animated elements. That is really cool.
But it was not to be. For Diablo's essence lingers in the black soul stone.
This is so classic. Now that I've been around a bit, you know, it's very interesting to see how different genres or like different stories use same storytelling elements to tell a story. For example, Lord of the Rings had the one ring to rule them all, and even though the bad guy was beaten up, his essence was saved within the ring, and that like physical item could be used to bring them back. Here, they do the same, which is the Soul Stone. Harry Potter did it as well when it came to Voldemort's like choosing very specific items to store a part of his soul in. So it's funny to see this kind of like storytelling element used across like different like stories. And it can be overused a few times, but also you cannot not have a battle between darkness and light and the in-between. Some things are used frequently across like different storytellers, but also I think that is a fair thing to do because you do need to tell a story, make a fantasy world, and take your audience to a new kind of like story. So
I cannot destroy the stone.
again, we get exposition through narration that the stone cannot be destroyed.
Nor allow its evil to remain within the heavens. And so it must be hidden.
Very cool.
Even from the angels. That it will be enough.
I like the transition here, how they go and the show does that basically, you know, they try to bury it under kind of like a hidden temple underground kind of situation. And as we zoom in to like the artistic kind of like, you know, narration kind of segment, as it goes into the depths of darkness, then they use this to switch to like a realistic cinematic kind of like as we know things when it's all fleshed out 3D rendered. So they zoom in and they actually show us that item, that element that has the essence of Diablo in this case. And I have to say they did an amazing job. Like this stone looks evil AF. Definitely something Evelyn from League of Legends would have in her, you know, house. Real cool. And I really like, again, Diablo. They play amazingly with light and setting the scene in terms of like cinematography because they use a lot of contrast and very subtle details of color, and it just creates an amazing ambience when it comes to their scene. Given their scenes are usually underground, gritty, and kind of like evilish, like caves and things, and that does help when you want to design something very like cinematically dark and like evoke certain emotions, but still I think they're doing an amazing job here. Their predominant color will be a very, very tinted towards black and white blue hue, I would say, within the cave, which makes sense because it's underground, it should be coldish. And then we have the gold, kind of like a gold action color, but again, it's very desaturated. There's nothing very poignant within the imagery that the saturation is quite high. So everything in terms of saturation stays relatively low, but they do use the contrast of blue and gold when they play out the scene. The only warm element is really the stone's essence, that is that very dark lust red covered by all the dark smoke. And after, if I remember correctly, the good guy, when he has his sword unleashed, it has a very nice blue, like more like vibrant blue energy to it. I love this scene, starting from like the focus being on the soul stone, basic soul stone, the essence that is within the stone, and then because we don't know where they are and it looks very like almost as if like, you know, there's some form of ritual happening, they are gonna cut to a very long shot from upwards, this one, but they also introduce a very like slight wobble. But now this gives the opportunity to us, the audience, to really kind of like inspect and see where they are. So you look at the gate, it has this really cool face, then all the pillars are like human, like holding up things. There is like a great abyss underneath, and in the center there's kind of like this ritual placement for the stone apparently, and then you have very like slight light, which it is a bit exaggerated, but it does make such a good cool impact coming from somewhere on top. And And then we're continuing with kind of a bird's eye view as they're gonna place the stone in the center. And this really helps with like symmetry and kind of like evoking the emotion of like order, symmetry, and kind of like everything needs to be in a very specific order for things to work. I really love the design of the stone evoking and emitting this kind of like smoke feel. This would not be very hard to do as long as you had pre-rendered smoke assets, because it's a fairly simple element and the element itself is not moving to affect the smoke itself. Because if you had like a simulation of smoke on me and I would move my hand, the smoke should be affected by the move of my hand. But because here it's a static element, like the item is just a stone, it doesn't really affect the smoke itself. So by layering up smoke elements, you could pull this off. I love the sound design, man, that they do with this with the stone.
You have done well, Hurrah.
Now, the guy that's talking has the same voice as the narrator, and of course they did illustrate his figure, so now we know that this is the guy that was talking, and he's kind of like in charge of protecting, basically, no one getting to the stone.
Your service here is finished, and you should all...
I love this, man. Usually, what filmmakers do is they start introducing a form of sound effect called a riser. And what a riser is basically it starts very low and it ramps and it ramps and it ramps up to give you that really high-end level of going like... But here, I tried to see, they didn't actually use a riser, it was very subtle, but they used his performance of just stopping because he's sensing something, but no one else did, including ourselves, because they did not use a sound cue, but it works really well. Usually, from what I've seen, is they always use risers and things like that to kind of like prepare the audience of that something is coming, but here it's really cool and it actually has a greater impact because you're like, all the sound and the soundtracks go away and his just tone of voice changes and he's like...
Here is finished, and you should all...
And they have that creepy... And I love this scene, how everyone prepares and you have a gate but it's fully dark and you don't know what's coming. That suspense is so awesome.
Run.
So dramatic. Those strings they use, man, they're so creepy. It really amplifies the creepiness of the scene. I love how he appears through fog. That is such a cool effect. It almost reminds me, and again, similar kind of techniques used across different stories. How like in Star Wars, you had Darth Vader appearing at the end of Rogue One, and how you had that door, but everything, the center of it was complete darkness, and you can barely see something until Darth Vader goes... Man, that was amazing. There he is.
Malthael.
I love that slide. You're dead. Oh, that was amazing. Focus on sound design here, guys. Actually, shot-wise, nothing crazy is happening. They have a close-up of the guy. They have a wide, and he's making the swords. And when the impact of the swords go, I'm guessing in terms to save a bit of like PG rating or something, they don't actually show the complete decapitation, and they will zoom in. But nothing excessive is happening in terms of like filming techniques and how the camera moves, but it's really cool to focus on sound design and how sound is actually gonna carry out this whole scene. The design of his wings are insane. So he's projecting this kind of thing that basically makes everyone age super quickly and die, and their essence, their soul basically be transferred to him, because he is the Reaper, I'm guessing. Reaper of souls. Yes, he is. I I'm actually surprised they did not focus on the charge of the sword itself to kind of like show us the ignition. That is always a cool element, cutting to a close-up of something very cool happening. So very cool design. The sword creates kind of like a shock barrier to protect him and the other guy from that.
Go!
Where are they gonna go though? I think I saw there's only one escape and it's towards the Reaper.
Find the Nephilim!
Such a cool scene. And now we're gonna see the effect of what it does. And it's really cool to see the contrast between this side of the rule of thirds, having the sword and the light projecting onto the character that it's about to be consumed basically, and the other end turning to like death basically. So you have light and death. Oh, that was so cool. I love it. Sick. I loved this. This is such a cool moment. Like how the character projects the sword and it's perfectly aligned as the camera moves. And what a scene. I think this is my favorite shot in terms of like the creativity behind it, because you guys know that when you place the camera angle lower to a character, it gives them strength and dominance because we're looking them from down low, and their presence is very power oriented, versus if you look down on them, they're in a position of weakness. This not only has an extreme low angle looking up, but it's also tilted, and when you create a tilt, it's just like amazing. And like again, the combination of the visual and the sound in this specific scene is just like spot on. How the sword, the moment of impact, all the music goes woof, and then you have the cool sound design. Man, I love how they're making like the particles and like his soul from his face being projected outwards.
Why?
You would need 3D design to do this, obviously, but it really does remind me the effect of Dementors from Harry Potter. If he's your brother, are you not powerful as well? Because he's OP AF. So he doesn't kill him. Very interesting. Sick.
The Nephilim will stop you.
If only I knew what that meant. God damn it.
No one can stop death.
I love how the stone just levitates. Amazing. And of course, title insert, and I did click on the thumbnail. That's great. Amazing, amazing, amazing job. Well done. Thank you guys for recommending this cinematic. It's been a while since we looked at a purely cinematic action dramatic kind of thing, so that was really, really exciting. Let me know what comes next, guys. We have a ton of League of Legends to react to, of course, and other things. I always go through your comments, as you know, to check things out, so do let me know. Check out the Creatrix wallet for sponsoring today's episode. They have some really cool things going on, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, stay awesome and creative.